Okay, what we have here is the Sonos wireless hi-fi system and various component parts. And what I'm going to do is to explain my setup as well as various options that you have with the Sonos systems, so you can set up a smaller system. And I'm going to quickly just go through the various items on the table here. So this unit here is known as the Play 3. It's a standalone system. It's actually internal behind this grille, a mono speaker, and perfect for a bedroom, but can also be paired together with two of these to then make a stereo pair for a room, a larger setup, so quite a flexible unit. Then this larger unit here we have is the Play 5, also known as the Sonos Zone Player S5, as you can see from the box in the background. This is older packaging. The black box is the more common thing that you can see with the Play 3. So I've got a number of items that I've had across a number of years. So this is the Play 5. This is a standalone stereo system. So behind the grille there's actually a pair of stereo speakers as well as its own subwoofer. So similar to this unit here, it has its own amplifier and speaker system, so it actually plays music. This one is a stereo standalone system. I have this in my dining room, where this is a single speaker system, perfect for bedroom, bedside, but can also be extended to, as I mentioned, if you have two of these in the same room, you then got a stereo setup. Okay, then we have the what used to be known as the ZP90, which is known as the Kinect, which is a small unit that actually has no amplifier within it or speakers, but actually allows you to connect this unit to an amplifier, an existing amplifier that you may have. I have a ZP90 in my lounge connected to my main audio visual amp. This unit here is a special item. This is known as the bridge, and this item is its only purpose is to allow you to spread your Sonos wireless mesh network into areas of the house, also allowing to establish the Sonos mesh network. All of these devices do that to slave units, as this dock here. Now this dock from Sonos is dedicated to iPhones or iPod touches, so I'm going to just plug one in just so you can at least see, if I can manage, a unit plugged in. And it's a dedicated unit that allows you to access music across your Sonos network from the unit that's been docked in the dock itself. So quick recap: that's the dock, that's the bridge. This was the ZP90, now known as the Kinect. This is the Play 5, used to be known as the S5. This is the Play 3, and I'm going to quickly go through various combo options that are available to you and explain a little bit more detail what I have. So what you've got to do is to nominate one of these units, so anything except for the bridge, anything except for the dock, to connect to your home network. And the reason you'd want to connect to your home network is to access your stored music either on a computer, or if you have a network attached storage unit, a NAS or a SAN, onto which you've got your music stored in a music library of some sort. To do this, you need to nominate a unit. Again, it has to be one of these units here, because it needs to have on the back a Cat5 Ethernet connection, which these units have. This one has, the ZP90 has, and the larger Play 5 and Play 3 have, where the dock does not. So once you have this connected to your network, and I'm going to bring a hub into the picture, and it is a simple case of connecting one of the units. I'm going to use and show you this flat white connector that Sonos very nicely provide. You literally just plug, and I'm doing this upside down, but it will make a lot of sense. You literally plug this Cat5 lead into your network switch, so that you've got a single unit that's now connected to your home network. And once you have that system set up, this unit then acts as the main master unit, and will activate your portal through which any of your Sonos units can connect and access your music that's on your network. Okay, now you might just want to have these units connected to the internet, so that you've got access to internet radio, etc. So this, I'm just bringing into play a typical home router. This is a Belkin router, but they're all typically the same. So on the back you'll have a connector that will connect your router to the internet. I'm going to just quickly plug a grey lead in, just to keep the colours different. So this is the normal connection you would have to your, in the UK, BT phone socket, for example. This router then, this one in particular, has its own 4-port hub or switch inbuilt to this unit. So you could, if you didn't have a home network, you could connect one of these units, or all of them if you wish, directly to your router. And once you've done this, you've then enabled access to the internet. And once you've got access to the internet, you have then also, with Sonos, access to the various multitude of radio stations that are available to you. So I'm going to quickly go back to the setup that's more typical to my setup, where I have a unit downstairs connected directly to a switch. I have a network throughout my house, and at one point in my home I have my router also connecting to, it's actually a different switch on a different level in my house because I've got a rather extensive network here, to my own switch, and this brings all the units together. So you quite quickly get to a point where you have a master unit. In this case it's a ZP90 or a Kinect, connecting this unit to the internet via the router. Home network and internet allows me access to both my stored music files on my computer and or network storage device, as well as all the internet radio services, Spotify as well, etc, etc, and we can go into that in a bit more detail. Okay, I'm going to get this clutter out of the way, so let's just assume now we've established a network in the house. And once you have a network in the house, you then want to consider what options and rooms you want to set up. So let's just say we've now got ourselves this unit on its own, and what I'm going to quickly do is I have another ZP90, another Kinect as it's now known, in the house, and it's still plugged in, connected. So I'm going to just quickly bring in and show you the Sonos app. So here on a MacBook Air, you can just see very quickly a screen that will show you that I have already on my network an item called living room. Now this living room is a logical name that you set up for each unit. You name them. So this one will be named dining room. This one's actually from the kitchen. The one that's already plugged in, similar unit to this, is called the living room, connected to my home AV amp. This is a bedroom speaker, and this is just known as the iPhone dock because it's normally got an iPhone in it. So ignore the fact I've got a playlist set up here with album art, of course, all the standard stuff you'd expect to see. I'm just going to quickly switch back to music and explain. As I mentioned, you've got access to all these various radios on the internet, whether it's a favourite station or one that you've already set up. You've got access to all kinds of services, etc. I mentioned Spotify earlier, but you've got LastFM, Deezer, some ones I can't quite pronounce, but you've got Spotify, etc., Wolfgang's Vault, all kinds of various online services as well. And that's because my ZP90 connected through to my home network, connected through to my router, allows me access to the internet. So this is what I'm accessing now. So the Sonos has its own wireless system, so you can see I brought a laptop in, so I just try not to confuse anybody here. So this is on a standard Wi-Fi network onto my wireless home network. I have another router that this is connecting to, whereas the Sonos system sets up its own, it's called a mesh network. It's a peer-to-peer network. It's a Sonos Net is what they like to call it, and this enables any Sonos device to communicate with each other through the Sonos mesh. And the mesh is an expanding network, which enables you to, through hopping through different items and units throughout your house, even if you've got a large house, you ensure good quality connection because it's able to share this information and data through its ever expanding network. So it's independent from your wireless network, so it doesn't affect your Wi-Fi performance, doesn't affect or interfere with any of your other computer equipment. It has its own wireless mesh network that it creates, but you do need to establish one of the network able Sonos units into your network to have access to the internet itself. And once you have that, you have then yourself a master, and as you can see, immediately have access to various services, etc. Okay, I'm now going to just quickly take this back out of the way and explain to you some options. So for example, if you wanted to have the iPhone dock, you would need to have something, at the very least, a bridge. So this bridge would then be connected to your network. This would then establish the Sonos mesh network. This would then connect via the bridge to your network and enable you to have access, etc. So you can have applications running on any PC or Macintosh, so you can access your music that you're playing from your computer, from your laptop, etc. You also can have control through an iPod Touch application, so they also have an application for the iPhone, iPod Touch and Android phones. So this is actually the Sonos application. Exactly the same thing here, where I can access and tell my system to, it's only able to see the living room at the moment, but again I can go through the same functionality as I did before. I can go through my radio stations, or I can go through a playlist, etc. Created playlists that are already on my system that I've already defined, etc. and select a playlist, and I can then force it to start playing. So you can use the remote control aspect of an iPod iPhone to control your Sonos network, as well as any music that is local to your iPod or iPhone. You can just dock it, and by docking it, immediately the music on this iPod immediately becomes available across the Sonos network to be played in any room that you have, other Sonos equipment, etc. Okay, so that's a very simple option if you wanted to have the iPod iPhone. What I have is, as I've explained, is a ZP90 in my lounge. That's connected to my main AV amp and also onto my home network. I then from that have a kitchen, I have a dining room, I have a bedroom unit, and I have a dock which also acts as a charge, which is also very handy. I don't actually use the bridge. I got the bridge unit in a very good deal this Christmas, just gone in 2011, where buying a Play 3 you were also able to order to buy a bridge. And I guess the reason why Sonos want to get these bridges out there is because it makes connecting up your devices, let's say, more pretty in the home. Because what this allows you to do is to discreetly tuck this away near your router. So keep all the ugly stuff out of the way. So your router and your bridge is over here somewhere in another part of your house, out the way. And then just with a power lead, suddenly a unit like the Play 5 or the Play 3, suddenly you've just got instant access. You can hear your music straight away, amplify it, and there's one less lead. You don't need to have that network Cat5 lead traipsing around your house from your units. You only need a power lead. So that allows you to have a very tidy system. Like I say, because I have a lounge with an AV system, there's a lot of wires behind any AV amplifiers you can imagine, and it's tucked away with all the other wires. So the bridge isn't in use in my house at the moment. It has one other facility though, because it's again, it's a peer-to-peer mesh network. If I had an issue in my house, if I had a particularly large house and I needed to enhance the communication ability for the peer-to-peer network for the Sonos Net, I could actually plug this unit into an immediate room. So let's say these devices were very far apart. I'm going to quickly remove the Play 5, and I had an issue with this wirelessly connecting over Sonos Net to my main master unit. I could, in an intermediate room, just plug this in. In this instance, I don't need to be plugging in the Cat5 network, because this device talking across Sonos Net using its mesh network would see this device. This device would then be able to broadcast to this device and in effect wirelessly link the units all together. So this can also act as a good in-between to expand and enhance the Sonos Net Wi-Fi wireless coverage in your house. Quickly popping the Play 5 back in place again. So okay, so what I'm going to do now is a series of different videos where I actually go through and plug these things and make them live, and a few comparison reviews. But there's my wireless setup, my Sonos wireless setup. Great unit. I've been expanding this over a number of years, and as you can see, I've got 6 units, and certainly plan to buy more units as I completely cover the entire house. It's a fantastic music system, and has brought life and access to all my CDs. And once you've ripped them, and I personally rip them into FLAC lossless, it opens your world of music again and gives you very easy access. So I'm going to go through in some more specifics on some other videos, and I hope you enjoy this and manage to see through a 15-minute video. I do apologise it took so long, quite a few devices here, and I'll make a few specific features. I want to mention one last few things though quickly. Each unit comes with very comprehensive instructions. You also get a bunch of free cables from Sonos. They're very good, all white. So I mentioned earlier you had a flat Cat5 lead, but you also get all the interconnects, etc. Very well supported. I find Sonos support very good. So even though we're in the UK and I'm emailing information to the US, one issue I once had with a noisy interfering fridge in my house when I was setting up a kitchen unit, They identified remotely by me collecting a little file for them. I emailed this to them. They immediately came back and said, all you need to do is to do this little option. And they explained how to do it, and it reconfigured the channel frequency that the Sonos Net used immediately onto a frequency that was noiseless. And suddenly, again, everything worked again. So even introducing a noisy fridge, or you may have a neighbour that has a noisy generator, etc., the way the Sonos system is designed and built, and the way that the remote support works very handsomely, they were able to handle that issue very seamlessly, and I had an email and everything was all absolutely fine again within 24 hours, even though of course, you know, the fridge is only running intermittently, so it didn't cause a problem only in my local area with my kitchen unit as it was at the time. So it's a robust system, it works very well. The support from Sonos I find very, very good. Good packaging, good instructions, very clear, very good support, and with the recent addition of the Android app, opening up the device and software to not just the Apple iPhone, iPod Touch and the iPad, really opens up where you have yourself in your hand a very snazzy remote control. So even if you ignore this dock for a minute, this controller here is my remote control for all my music. I can access all my library on my network at home and play it to one or pairs or a complete party mode, etc., which is something I'll go into in more deep depth in the other videos. But basically I can have my whole house playing in synchronization with any music I want, radio, etc. I want, all controlled by something I've got in my pocket and I can carry around with me. I can alter the volume, mute, etc. Fantastic units, and I'll go into more detail in my next videos to explain and show you in more depth how that works.